afternoon. Welcome to Tribune News on Q. You go to afternoon news source only here at Daily Tribune. We're live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. For today's headlines, the Quezon City Police District announced on Tuesday that criminal charges have been filed against Jason De Llosa and Joseph Santos Juan, alias Pepe, in connection with the November 16 shooting at a nightclub in Barangay Laging Handa. NBI Director Lito Magno announced Tuesday that some of the 8 suspects still at large in the flood control scam are overseas and have begun sending surrender feelers through Philippine embassies. Operations at Porac quarries were suspended Friday night as around 40 quarry operators and 850 haulers stopped work amid a dispute with the local government. The conflict arose after Mayor Jing Capil introduced a new ecological tax of 100 per 12 cubic meter truckload, part of a recent ordinance raising fees, especially for larger trucks. General Dean Mark Mamarel of the 501st Infantry Valiant Brigade reported recent clashes between government troops and New People's Army fighters in Bayao Pinukpok, Kalingag. The Bureau of Immigration arrested 16 Chinese nationals in Manila on November 21, including 38-year-old Chen Qinggang, wanted in China for major economic crimes. FSU operatives raided Sunland Building in San Miguel, Manila, seizing thousands of gadgets reportedly used in online scams. The Department of Energy is seeking bidders to raise 3,300 megawatts of fixed-bottom offshore wind capacity to the 5th round of the Green Energy Auction, following the release of the official notice of auction and terms of reference. The Filipina Five vows that it will not go down without putting up a fight against tougher opponents in the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup at the PhilSports Arena. Disney Plus released a new trailer and key art of the Beatles Anthology, a UK-produced documentary series chronicling the legendary band's life and times as told by John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. Today is 25th of November 2025, Tuesday, and I'm Louisse Kalingag, bringing you today's top stories. Let's get started. The Quezon City Police District said Tuesday that it has filed criminal charges against the suspects involved in the November 16, 2025 shooting at a nightclub in Barangay Laging Handa. QCPD Acting Director Randy Glenn Silvio identified the suspect as Jason De Llosa and his companion Joseph Santos Juan, also known as Pepe. Silvio said De Llosa arrived at the club around 3 a.m. and waited outside for Juan, who was the bar's operations manager. When Juan showed up at about 3:12 a.m., he brought De Llosa inside and let him skip the usual security frisk. NBI Director Lito Magno said Tuesday that some of the 8 suspects in a flood control scam who are still missing are abroad and have started sending surrender feelers through Philippine embassies. Authorities are stepping up efforts to arrest the remaining fugitives. Magno said 3 of the suspects overseas have already reached out to the embassies in the countries where they are staying. He added that the government is offering them options for returning. They can either come home on their own or ask Philippine law enforcers to bring them back. The provincial government is preparing to step in an immediate dispute between the Porac local government and quarry haulers after roughly 40 quarry operators and 850 haulers stopped working on Friday night. Officials said the conflict began after Porac Mayor Jing Capil introduced a new ecological tax. Capital data shows that fee is now set at 100 for every 12 cubic meter truckload. This ecological tax is part of a recently enacted municipal ordinance that raises fees for quarry haulers, especially those operating larger 16-wheel and 18-wheel trucks. However, Engineer Romeo Dunca Jr., head of Kalam Quarry Operations, said the capital has not yet received the ordinance through formal channels. A Philippine Army official stated that Kalingag remains the only province in the Cordillera region that has yet to be declared insurgency-free. Brigadier General Dean Mark Mamarel of the 501st Infantry Valiant Brigade reported that government troops have recently engaged in clashes with New People's Army fighters. He noted that these encounters are currently a key focus in the armed forces of the Philippines, especially the PA. On November 21st, soldiers confronted around 15 NPA members believed to be part of the Platoon DOS under the Ilocos Cordillera Regional Committee in Bayao, Pinokpo, Kalinga. 16 Chinese nationals, one of them with an alleged detention warrant in his country, have been arrested in Manila, the Bureau of Immigration said on Tuesday. BI Commissioner Joel Anthony Vallado identified the fugitive as Chen Qinggang, 38, who is wanted in China for major economic crimes. Vallado said Chen was arrested by operatives of the BI's Fugitive Search Unit last Friday, November 21, during a raid at Sunland Building in San Miguel, Manila. We suspect that this hub is a supplier of gadgets to be used by scam operators, he also said. During the operation, Vallado said that BIFSU operatives found thousands of gadgets and electronic devices traditionally used in online fraud or illicit digital operations. For our business news, the Department of Energy is seeking bidders to raise 3,300 megawatts of fixed bottom offshore wind capacity to the fifth round of the Green Energy Auction, following the release of the official notice of auction in terms of preference. The TOR establishes the country's first competitive auction dedicated solely to fixed bottom OSW projects, covering deliveries between 2028 and 2030. With the NOAA and TOR issued, developers may begin preparing registration requirements, including wind resource assessments, infrastructure development plans, and corporate documents. Meanwhile, the Philippine Stock Exchange Index is shown at 6,022.29, posting a slight increase of 0.70 points or 0.01%, indicating a nearly flat but positive movement. All shares index stands at 3,549.3, rising by 13.85 points or 0.39%, suggesting broader market participation with more stocks edging higher overall. The sector indices show mixed performance. The financial sector increased to 1,998.14, gaining 8.69 points or 0.44%, reflecting strength among banking and financial institutions. The holding firms index also posted a modest rise, adding 10.9 points or 0.21% to reach 4,758.51, signaling mild optimism in conglomerates. The services sector displayed solid upward movement, climbing to 13.33 points or 0.56% to 2,413.22, which could indicate positive sentiment in industries such as telecommunications, utilities, and transport. For our sports news, the Philippine vows that it will not go down without putting up a fight against tougher opponents in the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup at the PhilSports Arena in Pasig City. Filipina 5 team captain Bella Flanagan said they will do their best to pull off a win to prove that they can keep up against the best teams in the world. Ranked number 63, the Filipinas opened their bid in this prestigious 16-team tourney on a sour note when they suffered a 0.6 beating from world number 14 Poland last Friday. For our entertainment news, Disney Plus debuted an all-new trailer and key art for the Beatles anthology, a series about the legendary band composed of John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. The Beatles anthology will premiere with 3 episodes on November 26, followed by episodes 4 to 6 on November 27, and episodes 7 to 9 on November 29. The Beatles Anthology, a UK-produced documentary series exploring the life and times of the most influential beloved band of all time, as told by the Beatles themselves, will debut exclusively on Disney+. And for this afternoon's trivia, Katribu, did you know Insular Life Assurance Company, the first Filipino insurance firm, was established along Etchague Street, Quiapo, Manila by Leon Muser and Antonio Maria Barreto. At present, Insular Life is one of the largest Filipino life insurance companies. Insular Life has also the longest unbroken service record among life insurance firms in the country. During the World War II, Insular Life honored pre-war and Japanese occupation commitments to its policyholders. And for our viral story, viral now is a video of a dog suddenly jumping off of its owner's motorcycle and running off to chase the other dog. The mini heart attack moment amused netizens, calling the dog a brave one. The video has now 262K likes, 2K comments, and 158K shares on TikTok. That's all for now. Join us again at 4:30 p.m. still here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. Once again, I'm Louise Kalingag, and this has been Tribune News on Q.